Hey guys! In this video, I will be going over how to heal Stonevault as Resto Shaman. I will go over some of the trash as well because some of it can be challenging as well. So without further ado, let's get started. So going into the first pull, it's actually very spooky because there's a bunch of curses going out, there's a big AoE, there might be bolts going out on people, so I just like to drop a Spirit Link totem. As a Resto Shaman, you have a lot of CDs that come off cooldown pretty frequently, so you don't need to worry about saving them. On the second pull, we accidentally pulled all of the golems, which is a bit scary, but not the end of the world. I still have my Healing Tide totem and my Ascendance. I popped both here just to make sure people are topped because the double AoEs are going out very quickly. Make sure you activate your downpour pretty often because it gives your team bonus HP, which can be very helpful. It's also extra important to keep downpour on your tank because having the extra HP on your tank can help him survive trash. Alright, now going into the first boss, the scariest part of this fight is when you break the spikes. You definitely don't want to stack the arrows so you don't get as many debuffs, but you do want to have a CD up for every single spike. Whenever that dot goes out when you clear the spikes is when you want to pop a CD. So I popped Healing Tide on that first one. I see that I do not really have another CD aside from AG, so I pop a defensive for myself and I focus on healing my team. You want to make sure your team is always topped before the huge AoE. One thing that applies to all healers is that, see how the tank gets a debuff that is dispellable? Many healers do not know this, but you don't want to dispel that debuff right away. You want to look at the seismic smash timer and make sure you dispel it at least 1 to 2 seconds before the timer. Sometimes your tank may dodge this debuff, which means you won't be able to dispel them for the big tank busters, but just remember whenever they do have that debuff, you do not dispel them until the seismic smash is happening. Make sure to always keep track of what CDs you have. If I've used my Healing Tide, Ascendance, and AG, I tend to try and heal without any CDs. But if I really need to, then my oopsie button will be my Spirit Link totem. Here I saw that my Healing Tide totem was going to be up very soon, so I decided to use my Spirit Link right there. If you see that your group is using defensives, then you may want to hold off on one of your big CDs. So on that specific one, everyone in my group popped a defensive, so I saved my Healing Tide for the next pull. The next trash here also does a pulsing AoE damage, so you do want to be prepared. Make sure you monitor your team's HP, and if it doesn't look like they're going to die by the end of the last pulse, you do not need to pop a huge CD. So on the very first pulse damage there, I just used my Surging Totem and Downpour, and that was enough with my Healing Stream Totem and Chain Heals. You don't want to just spam all of your CDs at once because there can always be oopsie moments where you really need it, and if you don't have anything up, you're probably screwed. It's also important to note that sometimes it's actually good to use one of your CDs on your tank because of how vulnerable they are this season. Now that we have Fortified and Tyrannical in the same key. Also on this trash, make sure you kick the censoring gear, it's a silence, and if it goes on you, then you're in big trouble. This trash was very spooky, but I did get an Ascendance proc here, so I was pretty good without popping anything else. Over here, my tank said that he really needed a Spirit Link totem, so I had to spend it on him instead of the group. That's okay though, because I still have AG that I can pop, and I still have my Totemic Recall, and I can use both my healing streams at the same time. I got an Ascendance proc right here, pretty good. It's important to keep using your Riptide off cooldown because you can get those Ascendance procs with the Deeply Rooted Elements talent. Your DPS does not really matter that much because your healing rain is the majority of your DPS. So you don't need to be actively casting chain lightnings, especially if you know that your tank might be in danger. It's better to just keep an eye on them and make sure they're topped. Now that we have Fortified and Tyrannical in the same key, make sure you have enough CDs for both. You need to know what's coming up, whether it's important, and which CDs you need for each. So on this boss, the only damage that comes out aside from the shards are the AoE pulsing damage when you need to break the shield. So as the healer, you want to grab the first few orbs and then let your DPS grab the rest. You don't want to take more than 3 or 4 orbs or you will die to the dot. So I have Ascendance popped here because I saw that my mage died and we're going to be hitting the shield for a while here. We're going to have to survive all this. And the shield finally got broken, so we're safe for now. I'm looking at my healing tide and it's coming up very soon, so I know I have another CD for when I need it. If you're just popping 1 shard at a time, you don't really need that much to keep your team up. So this one, we popped a shard right before the shield came out, so I popped my healing tide totem just to top people very quickly. I saw that we have an AMZ dropped here, so I didn't bother to pop anything else. At this point, I still have my Spirit Link totem and my AG available, so I'm not worried at all. Only take as many orbs as you need, and then let your team have the rest, because it's actually better for your team to get more orbs so that they can break the shield faster and there'll be less for you to heal. I had to grab a 4th orb there because my 3 stacks were expiring. If you want to really min-max it, you don't pick up that many orbs until then. Fight's almost over here, so I decided to just pop my Spirit Link just in case. When it comes to a key, you want to have the timer in mind. If you can pop a CD to save a bit of your mana so you don't have to drink as much after, it's also valuable because drinking takes time. I normally just need to drop combat to drink, and then I will be okay with just drinking while my tank does the next pull. The only spooky part is if they're also in danger during the pull, and you have to be there to keep them alive. Make sure you watch your tank gear and help them kite if they need to. There is a stacking debuff that makes them take more and more damage for each stack they have. So if you have your Earthbind totem, make sure you use it here. Using your Cap totem to just temporarily stun them is very valuable as well. And the tank also kited with his Ursals. Just letting you guys know in case you didn't, if you're a dwarf, you're a warrior, or you're a blacksmith, you can grab this buff that gives you 10% burst for 10 minutes. On the last trash pack before the boss, I do not want to use that many CDs because I want to have them up for the boss. So for this boss, make sure you position yourself really well. You do not want to be standing on top of the vents until they go out, because if it goes out on you, you're probably just dead. So you just want to dodge the cubes, make sure you look at where the vents are coming in, have someone to range kick. You can be range kicking if your team isn't. When the vents come out, make sure you position very early so that you can heal. As totemic, this is not a big deal because you can use your totems to heal while you're moving. And make sure you have everyone topped before the huge explosion. I like to rotate between my CDs, so I used Healing Tide on that first dot. And here comes another one. I had to dodge an orb right there, right before. I saw that no one was range kicking that mob over there, so I decided to do it myself. But if there's no explosion coming soon, you have plenty of time to top your team with the dot. So don't panic about that. I see that the next hiding spot is currently covered in lava, so I'm focusing on topping my team while waiting for it to come out. It's a pretty tight window, but as long as you are ready for it, you can definitely survive it. I'm not too worried here on topping off my team because there's no additional damage going out aside from the dot. The rest of this trash is not very scary. You have plenty of time to top people in between every AoE, so not too worried too much. Just make sure you dodge the frontals. We were not doing it very well here, but ideally you want to be on the wall and pointing the frontals towards the wall. Here I decided to finally start doing that because I saw that the melee were dying. The last few trash packs is not really up to you. You need your team to kill all the Earthburst totems or you just get one shot. You just want to kick as many bolts as possible. And if you have limited kicks, make sure you focus on the heal and when your tank is weak. Make sure you drop your stacks before going into the next pull because each stack of the debuff that you have makes you take 10% more damage. Once you get to a high enough key, you can use your downpour when you start getting high stacks to just make sure your group has more HP before the explosion. This boss fight is not very complicated. You basically just want to rotate between your CDs. So if you have a defensive you want to let someone else clear first, generally you don't want to take the portals that are next to the melee as much as possible. There really isn't that much healing outside of if somebody hasn't cleared their dot yet. I try to clear mine right away because you need to clear for another portal to spawn and I know that I can clear immediately. So the most efficient way to do this is to already be near the portal before the dot even goes out so that you can clear it right away and have another portal spawn for your team. You want to make sure you don't drop your puddles too close to the middle or the side because you don't want to be blocking the portals. But we had a lot of melee in this group, so a lot of the middle area is covered. I see that nobody is near this portal as we're supposed to clear it, so I do it real quick. And there you go, boom, 2 more portals spawn so that my team can finally clear theirs. If you see that your team has low defensives, you want to let them clear it first. But if you see that nobody is going towards the portal that comes out right away, then you want to just clear ASAP to spawn another portal. Ideally, the healer should take the farthest portal to make sure your DPS have good uptime. So here, the mage was next to that portal already, so I just let him have that one, and I saw that nobody was on this portal, so I decided to take it. It can be a little tricky because you're out of range of people, but you always have your oopsie buttons like your Spirit Link Totem and other healing CDs. And that's it. I hope this guide helped you guys, and if you have any other questions, leave it down in the comments below. I will be coming out with more guides for other dungeons very soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe, turn on the notification bell, check out my previous videos posted on this channel. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.